The Slim Fast 14-day effect on your New Year's resolution. Day 1, the new year. You want to kick it off with a bang, and you're not just talking about fireworks. Day 14, you're ready to start this year right, looking great and preferably on top.
2 weeks is all it takes to get what you really want. Swap 2 meals a day for Slim Fast protein shakes or bars, get in a 30-minute workout, and stick to a 1,200-calorie diet to lose up to 6 pounds in your first 14 days. Find Slim Fast in a store near you.
You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Arrow After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Arrow After Show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another fabulous Arrow After Show. We are in Season 2, Episode 11, Blind Spot. And I am your host, Kelly, and it's just the girls taking over tonight.
Hi. I'm Yael.
Yes, Mike is still out of town, and unfortunately, Ellie Kona couldn't make it, but hopefully we'll all be back together again next week. But this was such a great episode. I'm really, really excited. Lots and lots of stuff happened. I want to start just kind of like talking about the flashbacks to the island, because we learned, some interesting things with that.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Kick us off.
What did we learn? Slade is still missing with the Mirakuru, and Sarah and Ollie get to know each other a little bit better, I guess.
Yes.
He confesses that he feels incredible guilt about her being stuck on the island, and she reveals that it wasn't all his fault, and that maybe Laurel is not as trustworthy as we all believe.
Yeah, well, that was a really interesting kind of tidbit that Sarah gave away.
Yeah.
That we find out that she actually had a crush on Ollie, like way back, when they were younger, and possibly before even Laurel did, or maybe they liked each other at the same time. I mean, they both liked him at the same time, and Laurel knew that she had a crush on him and kind of sabotaged her chances to a point.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a surprise that Sarah had a crush on him. That part was the least surprising. But the fact that Sarah believes that Laurel manipulated a situation where she was at a party with him and I mean, who's
to say he would have really hooked up with her at that party? I mean, we don't know.
Right.
But if she didn't even get the chance to try.
Right. I mean, I don't know. Do you think Laurel's devious enough that she would have called the police on the party that she wasn't at because her sister was there with the guy that she liked?
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I mean, she was, taking drugs and not telling anybody, and she, is pretty stubborn and needs to get her own way. So, I mean,
maybe she's manipulative.
Maybe. I mean, I don't think it's impossible for sure. I think her character has a lot of different sides that we have yet to see. And I think maybe this is kind of like the start of what we're going to start seeing from her, and hopefully get more in depth with what that character is all about.
I actually think it would be really fun to see her be that manipulative and evil. Yeah. I think that would be great to see.
Well, I definitely don't see her as a victim. And it's really weird because even seeing Sarah and kind of how she's, when we saw her come back and, she's, fighting and she's really strong, physically strong, and, but she's got a lot of emotional issues. And between the two of them from this episode, I really felt like Sarah was more of a victim than I feel like Laurel's ever been.
Yeah.
Like, it's just weird. Like, I don't ever see Laurel as a victim in any situation the way that I kind of see with Sarah. It's just kind of their personalities to me are that different. I mean, I don't know if you guys agree or what you think about, the two sisters on one side, but I kind of feel like she's more of...
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
I'm not sure. The more I think about it, the more I think that, I mean... I don't want to say, okay, so Laurel's possibly this really manipulative, feeling sorry for herself, making herself the victim type of woman. That's very possible. And if that is the case, then I would love to see that. That sounds fascinating to watch. And and a really interesting character. But I don't think that that's the route we're going. I think that she is kind of a damsel in distress who can take care of herself and like lets herself portray the like damsel in distress. But like, I could deal with it. I'm Laurel. I kick butt.
Yeah. And it's weird. Like, and when I say that I feel like Sarah's more of a victim, I don't necessarily mean she's helpless or anything like that. I just feel like she's not quite as emotionally strong or has that more like hardcore I don't need anybody's help kind of a thing. Like, you can tell she has a softer side that she shows and is a little bit more vulnerable than I feel like we've seen Laurel's character be. Yeah. Because even when, you know, everything that we find out about her throughout the episode, she still, her answer is, I don't need anybody's help. Like, she still maintains this kind of hardcore exterior that we know is not true.
Yeah.
And I wonder if she just honestly believes that it is. If she really thinks that she doesn't.
Interesting.
I mean, obviously, see, when people, get into, issues where they turn to other things aside from really searching for, help and kind of fall into these, other, spirals. I mean, we've seen her do it. She lost her job. It's really coming to haunt her with her trying to self-medicate and just refusing to ask for help. So, I mean, I guess she, does believe that she's can take it, as Oliver points out to her.
Right.
So it's just, it's interesting for me just looking at those two side by side, because we did see a more vulnerable side to Sarah, and then watching what happened with Laurel, I kind of liked to see like the two girls in a different light.
Yeah, of course. It's always really interesting to see two people that are similar, to see the different routes that they take, and that's really exciting.
Yeah.
And I think that reveal that we got from Sarah about how she says you can't always trust everyone. It was just a really interesting.
Or people aren't always what
they seem. Yeah, trust was like such a big issue in this episode.
Yeah, and even Oliver says that being on the island has taught him that you can't trust anyone.
Yeah.
And obviously Slade's taken off. They don't know what he's doing, where he's going, and then Sarah's comes back with, let's think about taking Ivo up in his offer and getting home.
Yeah.
And Oliver just can't believe she's even suggesting that. But she knows him, Ivo, in a way that we don't. So that relationship was interesting and creepy all at the same time.
It got so interesting and creepy. It got really weird. At first, it seemed like he and her had this very intimate relationship that she clearly was not so stoked about. And then he quickly turned on her.
Right.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, no, he really did. I mean, she decides that at first she kind of got what he was doing, and then the more that she thought about it, she realized he's just torturing people for science, and she just doesn't want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Because she's defending him to Oliver and saying he's not an evil person. He's really not what he, is meant to do. And Oliver's arguing back, well, he just killed Shadow in cold blood. I mean, that's not a good person. So I feel like, she kind of thought about it and had a struggle with it. And the more that she was talking to him, I think she was kind of coming to her senses in a sense.
Yeah.
Throughout that conversation, and just decided, I would rather be dead than help you.
Yeah.
And boy, is he going to.
Yeah, he turned so fast.
Just really, I'm going to find you and show you what torture is.
Yeah.
Pretty bad. But they never found Slade, at least not in the flashbacks.
Nope, we don't know.
So we don't know kind of what's going on with that, back in that point.
And he still has the Marakuru.
Yes, he does. At this point, he still does.
He took off with it.
Yeah. So I love the flashbacks to the island and kind of seeing what brought them to this point.
Yeah.
Because I'm interested to see kind of how they separate, he and Sarah. Like what happens to them for her to take off and go her route, and he ends up staying there.
I'm really excited to see where he ends up in terms of Slade, because he believes Slade's dead.
Right.
So I'm really excited to see how that comes about.
Yeah.
Because he's already died and come back to life.
Yeah. And now he's already done it twice.
Yeah.
Yes, he's got 9 lives, it seems.
Yeah.
Well, then we jump over to Roy.
Oh.
Which was, one of my favorite storylines in tonight's episode, just kind of watching him kind of deal with what's happening to him and the kind of turmoil that he's going through. And I love his friendship with Sin. I think that it's really cute. Like, he turns to her and really confides in her more so than Thea.
Yeah, it was really funny when he's like, I had to tell someone and I didn't want to freak her out. And Sin was like, you didn't care that you were going to freak me out.
Yeah. I mean, they're obviously, have a really good friendship, and he really trusts her.
Yeah.
And, she's really genuinely worried about him. And, he decides, he shows her his superhuman strength, and he decides he doesn't need the arrow. He's going to go off on a crime fighting spree of his own.
Of course he is.
So, of course, they set up a sting operation. And Sin goes undercover, looking pretty hot.
She looked so great undercover.
Yeah, but I like how he tells Thea she's got a date. She needs something slutty, to borrow something slutty.
From Thea.
Yeah.
Hey, you're my girlfriend. Dress this girl like a hooker.
And she does. Does a great job.
She does a great job.
She looked really good.
Yeah.
She did her makeup. She was looking good. Yeah. And, of course, she attracts the perfect guy. They're looking for this guy that's...
I think he was a lawyer.
Yeah, he's a lawyer going around slashing hookers and picking up girls and killing them. And Roy pretty much beats him almost to death.
Yeah.
And in the process hits Sin. Like, he doesn't even know how to control his strength, and we're just watching this whole process of what that serum has done to him and how he's reacting to it. And he's just about as stubborn as Laurel. Which is funny because they have a lot more in common than I think anybody realizes.
Yeah.
But their personalities are pretty similar.
Well, those queens, they do know how to pick them.
They do. But I like the way Thea was trying to talk to him and telling him, I'm not mad at you, I'm not judging you, I just want to help you, like, please talk to me.
She figured it out.
Yeah.
So she was like, I know something's going on with you. I know there's something different. I'm not going to judge you, like you were saying.
Yeah.
She's so much smarter than he gives her credit for.
And so much more understanding. I think, she's been through a lot herself. So I think that, he should give her a little bit more credit.
Oh, definitely.
And hopefully as he's starting to kind of control himself, maybe he will.
Well, with him and Sin going off and battling, crime fighting together, it's like what we had talked about last week, that maybe them with Thea are going to start their own team. And that was really exciting to see him and Sin. Team up and make it happen, and not really knowing what they're doing, right?
But
so it's kind of like when Ollie and Diggles
first started. Good first try. The guy lived. Whatever.
It's better than what Oliver did.
That's true. That's true. But I like that, to see where it's going, and I like that it's not super fast. That it's a slow progression. But I just hope it's not too slow. And from what we've seen in the previews, it's not going to be super slow, which is great.
Yeah. But no, I'm really glad last week when I shouted finally. I was really feeling like this week we weren't going to get to that story, and we weren't going to get there for a while. And I'm really glad that this week we really got there. Like, Roy has superhuman strength.
In his red hoodie fighting crime.
Yeah. Oh, that was great, that hoodie.
Yep.
Oh, silly.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's take a quick second and let's talk about Slim Fast. With Slim Fast, 2 weeks is all it takes to get what you really want. In 14 days, the only thing higher than your confidence will be your hemline. This podcast is brought to you by Slim Fast. And who was looking pretty fast was Oliver, a whole episode trying to find the creepy skull mask guy.
Yeah.
The whole time, like, the episode opens up with that.
It opens up basically almost the exact same scene we saw at the beginning of last week's episode, where he's with some low life who's super low on the food chain, being like, "Where is he?" It was so Christian Bale's Batman.
Oh no, it totally is. Oh, and he's got a polygraph through his Bluetooth.
Yeah, that was
nice.
Ridiculous. I loved it.
Touch.
It was
nice
so
touch.
good.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yep. But so he's, determined to find out who this person is, and, get behind it, and, look for the serum, and really kind of get to the bottom of what's going on in the city. And he's not getting any closer at all. And then, here comes Laurel with her Sebastian Blood accusations. And the thing that is so frustrating throughout the whole thing is that she is so on point. And because she's been so stubborn and not getting help for herself to deal with what's going on in her own life, she's getting discredited at every turn.
Oh, yeah.
And it's unfortunate. I mean, at the beginning of the episode, we see Sebastian go and visit his mother.
Yeah.
And, they seem to have a eerie visit. And he
so creepy.
says he forgives her. And then he kills her.
Yep.
And the nurse calls Laurel and lets her know that she had a heart attack pretty much and died.
Yeah.
And Laurel, that's when she goes off on her tangent and is like telling, the DA, I need a warrant. I know it's him. And she's adamant. And she goes to her, and last episode she had gone to her dad and she's just not getting anywhere.
Yep.
So she goes back to her dad, gets him to call Arrow and kind of shows him the evidence that she has at this point. And he's pretty hesitant. I mean, he knows Sebastian in a different way. And at first
he trusts him.
Right. Yeah. So it was not an easy sell for him, but it's Laurel, so he takes it in, checks everything out, and she's making sense with the connections. They're digging into his past, and they want to find the file.
Oh,
That good old file of what really happened to his father.
The file that hasn't been digitized, so it can't be hacked. So we got to go old school.
Yep.
Oh,
they break into the archives. Felicity tries to do her thing. It doesn't work. They're almost caught. Laurel's helping him.
I think
finds the file.
I think the greatest part though is when Felicity says, I guess one of these rent-a-cops is smart.
Yeah,
and that's I love when a show, they did it last week too. I love it when a show is we're not gonna be dumb about this.
Right. Not everybody. You're not smarter than everybody.
You guys can't just wave your hand and make everything magic. Sometimes plans go wrong.
Which was good. And at this point they did. They were, really, they caught him on the camera. The cops all come. They know the vigilante's there. They're so close to catching him. Of course he gets away. They open the file folder and of course it's empty.
Of course it's empty.
Of course it's
Why would you think that there would be something?
No, that would have been way too easy.
Yeah.
Way too easy. So they're kind of back to square one and looking for things, and Oliver goes to talk to Sebastian and kind of give him the benefit of the doubt, so to speak, and has this, just kind of casual conversation about Laurel. Have you noticed anything? Are you guys fighting? What's going on? But his choice of words for his answer is what I thought was interesting.
Oh, so terrifying.
I'll take care of Laurel.
I'll take care of Laurel. So creepy.
Yep. Which, as we see later, he almost does.
Yeah.
He almost does. There's just so much.
You seem so disappointed.
I knew it was, I knew it wasn't going to be that easy.
Right.
But yeah, there was a little bit of disappointment. I just feel bad because she's second guessing herself. Right. And now it's all she has is a drug problem. Now she's a drug addict. Now that's all the focus is going to be, and nobody's going to take her serious. And as much as I was not a huge fan of her character to start out, there's a lot of times she was bugging me, but for this, I was really happy that she was going with her gut and she was really going for it, and she was right.
Yeah.
And it's just so unfortunate that things kind of turned out the way that they are. But I mean, it just goes to show.
I feel like you're more disappointed in the fact that she's right and now no one will believe her than the fact that she was kidnapped.
Yes.
Than the fact that she's addicted to painkillers. She's depressed.
I'm not worried about that.
You don't care.
She gets kidnapped every other episode.
Right?
Whatever.
But you feel like you're so disappointed that no one's going to ever believe her, and she's 100% right.
Yes, that is what I'm the most disappointed in, is that now no one's going to believe her. Anytime she comes up with anything, it's done. Her credibility is over. She lost her job. Now even Oliver doesn't believe, is second guessing his relationship with her, as far as the blind spot he has, with her and just dealing with their relationship.
Yeah, when he says that I have a blind spot for her. I trust what she says. I think he should, now that he's aware of this, he might want to be oh, I have a blind spot for, a few people. If Felicity told me something, I probably have a blind spot for her. If Thea did, all the women in my life, really.
Yeah.
He kind of does.
He does. And that's the reason why she was able to get kidnapped was because he was not on point. He let his guard down, and then he gets knocked out.
That was so funny. How is it that this man who is supposed to be amazing, right?
He's got like 7 senses,
Yeah.
you know, like he's supposed to be able to hear things and know things
Yeah.
and just feel when things are wrong.
He's so far been
out.
amazing, knocked out so quickly.
Yep. But I think that's kind of going to the whole point of like the blind spot that he has, that, you know, everything changes when he's around her, which we've seen in past episodes, which Diggle has accused him of, and they've had conversations and spats about. And this is the first time he's actually like really admitted it and was sincere about it, like really stopping and just like realizing that he really does, I think.
Well, it only took him 2.5 seasons.
That's it. That's all.
That's impressive.
Yeah. But, you know, there's a message on the wall, you know, the Arrow come to the cannery and, you know, we see Laurel there with the skull mask and
she calls him Blood.
she does. She calls him Sebastian. Yeah. She's telling him you're crazy, whatever.
Yeah.
And she's telling him, I know who you are. And, you know, he grabs her, and at this, you know, at first we're thinking it's him, but then it's like, that's too easy. It can't be him. But he grabs her and is like, well, I'm not some drug addict, you know, making crazy accusations about the city's favorite son.
Yeah.
Or, you know, which that's what she looks like. So no one's going to believe in it. I'm telling you,
sorry.
I'm so disappointed in that.
I'm so sorry.
But she ends up actually saving Oliver's life. So now he's been saved by both sisters.
Yeah.
Now he's been saved by them both.
Maybe he's not as powerful as he thought he was.
You know, that's why we need to see him team up with the Red Arrow. He needs a sidekick. Diggle's not doing it. He doesn't let him get involved too much.
Yeah, why doesn't Diggle go out and fight?
Well, I think every time he does, he gets shot.
Fair point. Fair point.
Well, see, and now we're going to see superhuman strength come into play.
Yeah.
So it's actually going to, you know, I'm excited for that. I can't wait till that comes out, just to kind of see how they're going to work together and if they really do end up, you know, if it ends up being that way. But
I'm also really excited because up until now, everybody's been human.
Yes.
And I like my comics super.
Yeah, so it's interesting. It's definitely an interesting twist, and I like it. Yeah. And I'm really surprised though that they just kind of like let him go and haven't gone looking for him. That's the one thing that like the Blood brothers haven't gone looking for him. They know who he is. Obviously, they injected him, but to just kind of let him be off on his own, I find that strange.
That is a really good point.
So I wonder. If it has to come back in some sort. It has to come back into play. I mean, it can't just.
He was injected with their serum
that they did on purpose.
Yeah, he's one of theirs.
I'm just, you know, because, you know, Sebastian knows Oliver's Arrow. Like, he knows like the whole backstory. He knows everything. He knows everyone he's associated with and all of that. So that has to be a piece of the puzzle somehow.
You think that he knows for sure?
Yeah, he does, because it didn't like he and Slade talk about that in last episode. Or the episode before that?
I don't think
like,
Slade has ever confided in him that Arrow and Oliver are the same person.
Oh, I thought he did know that.
Maybe I could be wrong.
No, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm overthinking it because I remember him saying, "You know who the Arrow really is," and he says, "Yes, I do." So maybe he did. Like, maybe he doesn't know, and maybe I'm like going too far ahead. But
I really don't think Sebastian knows. That they're the same person.
Okay, maybe he doesn't. Maybe, okay, backtrack.
That's fine. If we're wrong, tweet at us.
Yeah, I think it's me that's wrong. I think it is. I think it's that Slade said, "I do know who it is," but I don't think he told him.
Whatever. I want my Twitter blowing up with "You're wrong."
But he knows. I mean, he knows a lot, though. I mean, he was instructed to get close to Laurel. The reason why they had to go and kidnap Laurel was because Sebastian's making mistakes.
Right.
And, you know, Slade confronts him. It's like, this is now, your mother wasn't our problem. Laurel is. You got to handle that.
Yeah.
And so he calls on Daly to go and take care of business. So he
sacrifice himself.
Yeah, first he raids her place, gets her arrested for drugs and discredited and called a drug addict, and her job is taken away.
Then kidnaps her.
Almost kills her.
Yep.
You know, they were really, really kind of, you know, set her up, and as she calls it, a witch hunt. Mm-hmm. And they succeeded, you know, short of killing her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So It's I just hope she doesn't spiral like further out of control.
I think they say you have to hit rock bottom to make your way up.
Yeah.
And I think that the losing her job, losing Oliver and her father's trust, I think she's definitely reached rock bottom, because I can't think of something else she would lose at this point. And so I think she's rock bottom and she's only got up to go. That's what I think.
You think?
Yeah.
You know, she's starting to detox. There's no more drugs.
Mm-hmm.
She's really got to pull it together. And I think she's going to have to reach out to someone for help. And I really hope that she does. And I kind of hope it's her dad.
You think she's going to reach out to her dad?
I don't, but I hope so. Like, that's where I would want to see it go, is for, you know, but I think that she's probably not, just because she doesn't want to keep hearing about this addiction that she has and she doesn't want to face it.
Right.
But I would, you know, like to kind of see that, you know, him kind of get more involved and help.
Yeah.
And help kind of get her on her way to wherever her character is going to go.
Well, he says addiction it runs in the family.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yep. Well, and one of the biggest reveals of the night at the end was Deathstroke, which we finally got to see in, you know, in costume.
Again, finally!
Yeah, and boy, does he scare the crap out of Sebastian.
Yeah.
Kills all his men, tells him one more time and you're done.
Well, I mean, he came back. He had this plan. He said, I need you to get close to Laurel because I need you to get me closer to the Arrow. We need to take care of him. I'm going to make him suffer. Mm-hmm. And Sebastian keeps failing.
Yeah, he's not as, you know, and then we find out, you know, Slade's the one that took the file. He's got it.
He's known about Sebastian's family and situation, everything. And he wants to hurt the Arrow. And
his, you know, the key person in his plan is not up to par.
Yeah.
And keeps making these mistakes that are, you know, throwing wrenches in their plan. Because, you know, from what it looks like, he wants to pull everything apart from Oliver's life piece by piece.
Right.
So I think maybe something bigger than just him losing Shadow had to happen on that island
definitely.
for it to be this in depth. Like, there definitely has to be a lot more to it than, you know, just that.
I agree.
I really want to get more into kind of that backstory and see what's going on.
I cannot wait to see how that played out on the island.
Yeah, for sure. What else do we got here? But that's exciting. I mean, we see, you know, the Deathstroke in red this time from, you know, in the beginning. Mm-hmm. You know, there was yellow.
Those masks from the beginning.
Yeah, the mask from the beginning, and it's the same, but it's you know, the red and black. And,
yeah.
You know, I don't know.
I loved it.
It's getting good and it's getting better and better, and that's the great thing about the show, is it keeps getting better with each episode.
Oh, definitely. And I'm glad that I think what I really like is that we're no longer bringing in a character of the week. Like this character who, if you know the comics, you know what their character name is, but we're never going to use it, and they're gone next week. I'm really glad we've moved past that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it looks like throughout the season that we're going to see a lot of some of those characters at least come back in and play bigger parts.
Yeah.
And, you know, kind of make more of a splash, especially, I think, as the Blood Brothers, that kind of army grows, then, you know, we're going to definitely see more of that.
Well, I'd love for people to come back. That would be great.
And, you know, we're going to see more of the, like, League of Assassins, which is going to be interesting.
I have been waiting for that to come back.
Yeah.
That's very important to me.
So, I mean, there's lots and lots of good stuff in the works. And, you know, we're going to hopefully have some special guests in here soon, which is very, very exciting.
Yeah.
So, well, let's get into some predictions and see what you think is going to happen next week.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
You get to go first.
What we saw in the preview was Roy is finally getting trained. Oh, I'm so excited. I think we're going to get some amazing training sequences, which is, I don't know why, I love transitional makeover training sequences. I have a love of those. So I think that's definitely going to be the bulk of next episode. I think Arrow and Roy will chase down somebody next week. And I think that by the end of next week's episode, Roy will know who Arrow is.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
Interesting. Now, as much as I think Oliver thinks that they destroyed all the serum, obviously we know that's not the case.
Yeah.
So I wonder how long they're going to lay low before they kind of get back into business. And if now that, the skull mask is, supposed to have been like taken out of the picture, like I wonder what they're going to go to next and how they're going to get more recruits and all of that. So I'm really interested to see that. And I'm, I am definitely excited, but I agree with you. I think that Roy's going to know who Arrow is by the end. Mm-hmm. And did we see a preview of him doing the bar thing? Was that Roy doing it? I think it might have been.
I did not notice that.
I think it might have been.
Oh.
I don't know. All in all, lots of good stuff. I wonder if Diggle's going to get a little jealous of this new bromance that's brewing.
I'm excited to see how Felicity feels about it. Another man doing the thing.
I know. She's just surrounded by all these hot guys all day.
Oh, life must be so hard for her.
I don't know. She had a lot of good one-liners in this episode too, which is funny. But I want to see, the Flash come into play. So I want to see, all that happen. So lots of good stuff in the works. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for another great episode of Arrow. Please make sure to follow us at AfterBuzz TV. Go to iTunes, download the podcast. It's free. Rate and comment, and obviously you can go to YouTube as well and leave comments there.
Yes.
And we're hoping to have a full panel next week. Oh no, you're not going to be here.
I'm not going to be here next week.
Eventually, there will be a full panel here at some point.
Sometime this year.
So thank you guys again. We'll see you next week, and you can follow me at Kellie with an IE079 on Twitter and Instagram.
You can find me on the web at yael.tv, that's yael.tv, and on Twitter at Yael Tygiel, YAELTYGIEL.
And bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.